What is good, y'all? Welcome to Let's Cap. I'm your host, Ronald from Wagertalk at Youcapper Sports on Twitter. Got my guys, Finesse and Chris, here with me today. I'm going to talk about game 3 of the NBA Finals. I'll drop a WNBA play, and then we'll see if there's any time or anything else for MLB. I didn't really touch MLB today, guys, so if you guys did, it'll be on you. But I just did WNBA. Game 2 went 2-1. I had the full game over. I had Bam assists, both of those hit. And then the one that I really liked was the team total over for Nuggets was sort of on the way there. I mean, at halftime looked like we were going to get there. And then they struggled in the second half. Was really hoping for Murray to hit that three to get into OT. That would have been nice, but didn't happen. So 2-1 on game 2 there. Finesse, let's go to you. How's everything going? MLB and NBA, everything, whatever you're touching on. I know you're probably successful at it. So how's everything going? Let the people know.
Yeah, I'm good, bro. Happy to be here again with y'all. Fascinating game 3 coming up. Fascinating game 2 we watched. Fascinating game 3 coming up. And yeah, just a daily grind, bro. MLB, NBA. Had a tough time with game 2. I cashed the over, but not really a lot of success outside of that. So obviously looking to bounce back. Got some looks I love. And can't wait to chop it up with y'all. So let's do it.
Yeah. How about Chris? How's everything going, bro?
Good, man. It's good to just get these breaks, RC. I've been capping MLB, not really giving out any plays, just playing stuff here and there. I mean, getting smashed, absolutely rocked in MLB. So I'm gonna chill MLB. Maybe I'll pop back in about a week or two. Yesterday I was on the Pirates. I was on the Dodgers. They both, So anyway,
Dodgers, bro.
Yeah, that was nasty.
MLB's like that, sometimes. So I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna chill out on MLB and baseball, and really just been picking up WNBA RC. I love it, man. I love watching the girls play. They play way harder than the boys, like you said.
They definitely do. The only thing is they man, some of these layups that they've been missing, man. I be getting so mad.
You got to take the good with the bad,
RC. Why you got to hit the bottom of the rim? You open layup. It don't make no sense, bro.
Because she's 4'11". That's why.
I love it. They shoot a lot better than the NBA.
I was gonna say it. Free throws, 3-pointers. Yeah,
for sure. And the free throws, when they get to the free throw line, it's almost automatic too. Yeah, WNBA. I love WNBA there. Yeah. I was talking to Finesse right before the show, man. I was on like an 8-0 run in the WNBA. Then the last 2 slates, not as nice. So still positive on the season, but I was hoping that we can just cruise through and just go straight with a dope ass percentage. But came back down a little bit. But like I said, still profitable on the season. Hopefully we just keep cashing in that way. But yeah, man. Let's get into the NBA. I'm gonna share my screen while I do that. Finesse, let's go to you here. Talk about what you're seeing in this game 2 or game 3, and what you saw in game 2 that can kind of point you in the right direction here.
Yeah, I mean, game 2, like I said, was fascinating to watch. Truly a game of runs, in my opinion. Denver goes on like a 40-14 run, still lose the game. We saw Miami kind of come out punch early. Denver was able to respond, and then Miami kind of puts the hammer down in the fourth quarter. Like a defense and effort on defense for Denver. I think it's something we saw in game 2, and I think that's something that they obviously get together moving forward in the series. I don't want to discredit Miami at all. I think Miami played a really good game. I think the adjustments to see from both coaches, especially Spo, is fascinating to watch. They got outplayed in game 2, and that's what Miami does, right? They can get outplayed for stretches, majority of the game, and still find ways to win. That's why I leaned Miami spread. I think it was too many points even on the road, and they got it done. They found a way to get it done. Denver shot better from the field. I rebounded them. Denver did commit more turnovers, but they got outplayed in the paint, and Miami still won the game. So moving into game 3. RC, you want picks and analysis now? Or you want to?
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about that. Just go through it and see what we have. Just a conversation. You know how it is, Flo.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, moving into game 3, just some of the adjustments. Like I said, I like what both teams are doing. Right. Obviously, Miami started Kevin Love, which opened them to play Jimmy Butler and Murray more. Obviously, Denver runs so many actions. They're going to hump matchups more in game 3 and kind of get Jimmy Butler off Murray. Same thing Miami does. A lot of teams like to switch most or switch everything. So it's not just going to be a one-on-one game with Jimmy Butler and Murray. So I think actions get Murray more open. I saw Miami crowd the elbows a lot too on Murray actions, right? When Murray's handling the ball and driving, kind of getting in the middle of the paint, they're collapsing a lot better, sending more bodies at him, making them pass the ball, be a playmaker rather than a scorer. And it worked. It worked. I think 18 points. It didn't shoot that well. Racked up the assist for sure. Obviously, if they make you play make, you're going to play make. So I think even the offensive sets for the Heat, right? When you're running the Bam and Jimmy Butler action or Bam and game visit action, top of the key, I think they did a great job getting shooters open in the corners, running back picks and stuff like that. So those are the adjustments that are so fascinating to me. I think I can't wait to see what we see in Game 3. In terms of Game 3, I'm on Denver. Like I said, I think Denver outplayed them for most of the game. I know they're going back to Miami, but I think Denver's a better team. I think they're the longer team. I think we see adjustments. We see a statement game at Game 3. I think going back to 2015 or 2016, series is tied 1-1. Winner of Game 3 wins the series like 85% of the time. So I think Denver's going to win a series. I think they're going to win Game 3. I know Chris is going to touch on this a little bit more, but I like them early as well. I think it's a statement game, right? A lot of things can be improved on from Denver. And I know Miami's going to do the same thing, right? I'm not trying to disrespect Miami. I think it's a hard-fought game, close game as the spread indicates. But yeah, we saw Joker's assist numbers kind of plummeted Game 2. Denver shot 18% off of Jokic passes. So that's
crazy. Yeah, we were kind of talking right before the show about that, right? Like he still had the opportunities. They just weren't hitting it. 18%. That's fucking crazy, dude.
100%. You look at the potential assists, they're still there, like you were talking about. But open shots, contested shots, they just couldn't make shots of Joker passes. So I think they shoot a little bit better from 3, 11 for 28 in Game 2, while Miami was red hot. So I think they shoot a little bit better from 3, play a little bit better defense, shoot a little bit better off of the Jokic actions and playmaking. And I think they win a good game in Game 3.
Yeah, I mean, we were kind of talking about this too. I think it was you, but I'm pretty sure you were looking towards the under as well, right? Because defensively is I think where we see Denver make the most adjustments because they can't allow Miami to hit the 3 ball at a 50% rate again. I mean, that's one of the biggest things, right? If you look at it, they lost by 3 points, and the 3-point differential margin was 6, right? 17 threes by Miami, 11 to Denver. But some of the trends that you didn't touch on, but it kind of leans towards your direction as well with Denver is, just the sheer zigzag theory, right? In the finals, obviously it's a small sample size because we're only looking at the NBA finals. But if you look at here, this one specifically, round 4 equals the NBA finals in the playoffs. Series Game 3 specifically. So we're looking at the zigzag, right? First game, home favorite loss. First game here was home favorite win. And then the Game 2 was a home favorite loss. 5-2 straight up, 5-2 against the spread, 5-2 to the under, kind of looking directly into the areas that we were looking at, right? Towards Denver, also to the under. And you can see the majority of that gap is in that first half. So if you're looking at the early part of it, that might make a lot of sense too. Because if you look at the second half gap, they're actually the team that's down at half typically is actually winning in the second half, from a straight up margin. The other thing to mention too, before we get to Chris, if we look at, I think it's round 4, not even just specifically to Game 3, but if we look in the finals, road favorites coming off of a loss, 4-1 straight up, 3-2 against the spread, 5-0 to the under. Again, small sample size because we're only looking towards the finals, right? So it doesn't happen often, but historically, a lot of things are pointing in that direction. Once again, if you look at that first half margin, that's where that big gap is. So it makes a lot of sense to look towards the Nuggets first half, and then also to the full game under. I mean, those were kind of the ways that I was looking at too. Chris, what are your thoughts on this? Did you see any different angles that I didn't really touch on here?
Not really. I think the only other thing for a bigger sample size is if you just look at teams who won Game 1 at home and then lose Game 2. I think they should be 11-4 straight up, 9-5-1 against the spread, 64% against the spread since 2002. I want to say. And that trend also is 9-6 to the under. So 60% towards the under. And I do like the under as well with you guys. I did play the under, 1 unit on the under, 214.5. And for me, it's just it's the pace. RC, we talked about. I've been talking about this a little bit. The fourth quarter game too, right? Everybody was thinking over.
Yeah.
In the game in general, but they had 36 points in the fourth quarter on 19 possessions. They had an offensive rating of 189.5 points, 100 possessions. RC, that's the most efficient quarter of any team in the last 2 seasons of basketball. 2,640 games. 5,280 different teams, right? Wow. So it took a historical feat for them to kind of go over the total, because the game still barely went over. Both of these teams were extremely efficient offensively. Both teams missed shots, but you look at offensive rating, they were still, really, really good. And then also, just another outlier, a tad bit of an outlier at this point. Miami continues to shoot the 3-point ball really, really well. They shot 17 for 35 in game 2. That's 48.6% from 3. It's only the 6th time for them in this postseason that they've shot 48.5% or better from 3 in the playoffs. But RC, this is crazy. That's only the 4th time in NBA history that a team has shot 48% from 3 on at least 35 attempts. Yeah, and Denver is not a bad defensive team from 3. Like, they still rank top 5, top 6 against the 3-point ball. And I think a lot of it was, just the lack of discipline, right? I also saw another stat that said that Denver hadn't lost a game in like over a month, right? Because you got to think they came off a sweat, right? Like, these are like calendar month, right? They came off a sweat. Yeah. They hadn't lost since they, lost to Phoenix in game 5. So, coming off a sweep, then you got to wait for, for Boston, for Heat, to get done with Boston. So they, just not locked in, not executing defensively. I think, you watch the post-game interview, Mike Malone, he pretty much crucified his team, right? Like, he was in their face, like, yo, this is unacceptable. They came in and stole the game, and I do expect us to go back and do the same thing. So you talked about the 3-point variance, I see, and that, I kind of got some numbers to kind of look at that. I also think, pace is important. 86.5 possessions per team. So pace was only 86.5 in game number 2. That was the Nuggets' slowest pace game of the postseason, and the second slowest pace game of the postseason overall, right? And that's because, like, I heard Finesse mention this, it's just a lot of runs, right? Like, Miami will go on a run, Denver will bounce back with a run. But, Spo has this innate ability to be able to kind of mix up his defenses and kind of catch Denver off guard. Yeah. So when he thinks they're going man, he might throw in his zone, yada, 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 right? And that's like stopping Denver from being able to score as consistently as possible. Both of these teams are also really good at limiting the other team in transition, right? They're excellent transition defenses. Both of these teams get back. Both of these teams box out and don't give up a lot of rebounds and a lot of second chance opportunities. So all of those reasons, I like the under a little bit more than I like everything, under 214.5. Yeah. And I did play the under, but I also like Denver. I like Denver early, just kind of some of the trends that you talked about, RC. And the trends also just bode well with the flow of how Denver plays throughout the postseason and throughout the finals, right? Like, they've been the team that's been establishing themselves first for the most part. And then Miami and Spo after halftime, come in with the adjustments. I'm pretty sure they're killing the fourth quarter because Denver has had these, big leads, these double-digit leads in the fourth quarter, and Miami kind of, cuts into them. So I think we see a focused, very disciplined team that executes, that's trying to get Michael Porter Jr., involved, because he's been out of it. Jokic continues to play well. And I'm looking for Mike Malone now to be able to make those adjustments on the offensive end to get his guys in better spots, especially with Kevin Love coming into the starting lineup. So now you don't have the advantage to be able to kind of put Aaron Gordon on the block and him to be Shaq like he was in game 1. So I'm looking for those things, RC. I did play Denver first quarter minus 0.5, minus the half a point. I played them first half as well. I think that they get out early in this game. And Miami, people that want to back Miami, I can't talk you off, but what I will say is if you're backing Miami, you are backing them to shoot, another 45% from 3, right? Mm-hmm. Which is not possible. Like I said, they've done it 6 times, but you really need them to shoot the 3-point ball really, really well. And I like Denver's defensive, what I anticipate to be their defensive intensity in this game, RC. So I played Denver in the trifecta, first quarter, first half, and full game. I got a half a point for first quarter, first half. And then I got the full game at minus 2.5. I also played the under 214.5.
The under is your top play?
So under I went 1 unit. The first quarter, first half, I went half unit apiece, and then the full game minus the 2.5, I went a unit on that as well.
I like it. I've only taken the under. I've been trying to find my path on the Nugget side here. I think you guys are right though. I think it's that first half. I mean, we talk about it all playoffs long, dude. Like Spo and the Heat, their second half adjustments are crazy. So kind of just getting away from that for the most part might be the right, just basically just the right thing to do in general, right? Because whether or not they win or cover, at least we know that we kind of avoid the second half adjustments, because Denver's gonna have to make adjustments. Spo and them can try to figure out what it might be, but if they don't get it right, the adjustments are gonna have to happen in the second half. So avoiding that, I think, is the right way to go. I think first quarter, first half makes a lot of sense to me. Some of the trends that we looked at as well pointed it in that direction, right? We noticed, the whole zigzag theory. It's that first half, the team that lost in the previous game is where they make, their biggest margin. The other piece too, I just, we were kind of talking a little bit about the prop section, but this is on Give Me the Dog. I looked at how Jokic does after so far this season, just this season specifically, after he has five or less assists in a game, what happens in the next game. So three of the 4 games here, he did go up and over he got 10 or more assists. Kind of weird game here against the Bulls. This was during the regular season. These two were in the latter part of the season. I believe both of these are in the playoffs, right? 5-1. Yeah. Both of these were in the playoffs here. Look at the amount of points he got too. So it almost seems like, if we take away this early regular season game, you can see he actually continues to continue scoring in the game following. He does come up a lot more with the rebounds. You can see the number of minutes he played, 40 plus in each one of them. So we expect him to play a lot of minutes here. My assumption is if he had 5 assists in the previous game, they most likely lost the previous game as well. So it's his adjustment on basically what happened in the previous game. The more rebounds tells me their defense is a lot better as well, right? Likely most of those are defensive rebounds. So that also points to the under again. So, man, a lot of things that we're talking about is still pointing to Denver, mainly to the under as well. First quarter, first half, I might get there with you guys if you guys took it. Well, Chris, I know you took it. Finesse, did you take the first quarter, first half, or are you still kind of contemplating that?
Yeah, I like to kind of stay away from first quarters, even though that's the way I would lean. I'm gonna get there on the first half. I mean, that was an amazing breakdown as usual by Chris.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna probably get there with the first half as well. I think it's correlated with full game, even though we saw a lot of runs in game 2. So yeah, it'll probably be a first half full game type of situation for me.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, I mean, I think we kind of talked about this game from different angles already. Do you see? I think one guy that we talked about before the show, Finesse, was Michael Porter Jr. Right? We talked about what we feel like is going to happen here in Game 3, because he struggled on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively in Game 2 there. And we were talking about how we feel like they're probably going to attack with Michael Porter Jr. early and see if he can get into a groove offensively, because we know defensively he's already a liability. So if he's not going to be an offensive threat, we might see Bruce Brown come in early. What are you guys' thoughts on maybe MPJ's props or Bruce Brown's props, and how many minutes you feel like Bruce Brown will play here?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's one of the most interesting players to watch in Game 3. He got benched in Game 2, only played 26 minutes, 27 minutes. After averaging close to 40. So, yeah, he straight up got benched. No player's going to like that. He's one of those guys, we've mentioned Denver struggles on defense in Game 2, right? Chris broke it down great. The problem wasn't the offense for Denver. It really is, right? We seen them be an elite offense for almost the whole series. Miami's offensive rating in Game 2 was like 130, right? Chris mentioned the offensive rating in the fourth quarter. Obviously, that bolsters that overall offensive rating, but that needs to change, and I think MPJ is a big part of that, right? Shots were not falling, and he's the type of player to, effort wanes, focus wanes, if his shots ain't falling, right? Especially on the defensive side. And that's exactly what we saw. Just boneheaded plays, right? Not communicating on screens, leaving guys wide open, not fighting over screens, stuff like that. So I like an MPJ bounce back game. I'm glad we brought him up because I think he's a major part of how this game goes for Denver. So like you said, I think they run some stuff specifically designed for him early, try to get his head in the game, get a shot to fall. And I'm gonna say his first shot falls. I'm gonna go on a limb and say that. And I think that that sets the tone for most of the game for him. So a couple of things I was looking at. I'm gonna definitely pair his 2+3s with something. We're gonna discount either odds wise or the actual number wise on almost all his props because of what they saw in game 2 and his inconsistency. So I'm gonna definitely pair his 2+3s with something. That's for sure. And I'm probably get there with his points and rebounds sitting at 21.5. We're getting a discount, like I said. I think it's been 23.5 for a while now. So we're getting that discount. I think he's a threat to give you 18 plus points. The rebounds, like I said, are always going to be there. If he's 100% focused, he's getting his 37 plus minutes. He's 100% focused. His shots are falling. He's definitely a gremlin on the board. So 21.5, I think, is a bargain that I will take. Nobody's going to want to bet him. Everybody hate him. Everybody think he a bum. Fuck MPJ. That's when I want to hop on him. That's when I want to hop on him. Balls.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, like you said too, I heard, was thinking that maybe Bruce Brown comes in for MPJ. Like I just said it too, right before I brought it to you. But just looking at this here, you can see KCP has actually been the worst on the court so far this series. We can maybe MPJ attacks early, he gets into a groove. KCP continues to struggle. Man, we talked about those fouls, those back-to-back 3 fouls. Those were sort of like momentum killers. But maybe Bruce Brown takes KCP's minutes. That would make a better, I feel like, lineup to close out the game, at least for the most part, especially defensively, man. Those were, for being a veteran, right, being in this situation, you would have thought he would have made some better decisions there. But Bruce Brown, definitely a capable defender. Actually, the best defensive rating on the team. I would expect him to get heavy minutes here in Game 3. Chris, I know you did a prop show with Munaf just recently or earlier today. What are some props that you're looking at?
Yeah, so just touching on the Michael Porter Jr., I think it's definitely gonna go one of both, one of two ways. Like Finesse said, either he's gonna come out, and I would also agree with you guys. I think Mike Malone, if he's two things I want to mention before I talk about Michael Porter Jr. First, he's 24, right? Yeah. The psychology of Eric Spoelstra understands that if I can get Michael Porter Jr. away from the good things that he likes to do and how he likes to be involved, then maybe he'll let up in the other areas, right? So I think all of that is part of the plan. Like, we have to blanket this guy. You would love for the Denver Nuggets to play defense on the Miami Heat 3-point shooters the way that Miami Heat are playing defense on Michael Porter Jr., right? So I think that's one part, right? Just the psychology and the age. The other thing is Michael Porter Jr. skipped his post-game interview after the game, right? So that also says a lot. But I'm pretty sure that, hopefully they're putting their arms around this guy. They're uplifting him. I think, they probably run something for him early, like you guys mentioned. It might not even be a 3-pointer, though. I tweeted this earlier. It might just be a backdoor cut towards the rim just so he can see the ball go in, right? And then that leads to your offensive capability. So Michael Porter Jr. is an interesting guy, but the same way nobody was on Max Strus in game number 2 after going 0 for 10, it feels like this could be Michael Porter Jr.'s bounce back game. He's averaging 16 points on the road as well, and he's making 3 threes per game, which is leading their team in road games and in 7 playoff games as well. So that's the Michael Porter Jr. breakdown, and my 2 cents on that. As far as props in this game, I think if I'm betting on anything for the Denver side, I'm not mixing it up too much, man. I don't think it's that difficult. I'm taking Jokic. And I'm taking his points. You just had it up, RC. I didn't do that, what you just did as far as that query. But 28.5 seems low. The Denver Nuggets are now, 0-3, 0-4 in games where Jokic scores 40 points or more. So I think Spoelstra has kind of, figured that out. And I don't expect him to change that up much, right? Like, we're going to play him one-on-one. If we can have Michael Porter Jr. not making his threes because he's not getting open looks and we're not rotating off the ball, and he plays worse defense and they got to bench him, totally fine with us. I'm totally cool with that. KCP continues to be a negative 6.6, which my Lakers would have loved for him to show just a resemblance to that in the last series. I think that they win with that. They like that formula. So I would take Jokic over his points, rebounds, and assists. I think is the best line. I see 50.5 is the number. He's averaging 54 points, rebounds, and assists in road games. He's also cleared this number in both home games so far in this series specifically. He's the guy that you trust. Dude shooting 60% from the field, 52% from the 3-point line. He's gonna play 40 plus minutes, 45 plus minutes. So I would look at Jokic points, rebounds, and assists, or his points. Just taking his points. I think the 28.5 is still could be a tad bit of a bargain if you think Spoelstra's going to play the same style defense that he ran in the last game. Not to say he's not going to mix it up some, but for the most part, I see that staying the same. And then if I'm looking at Miami, the one guy that has been pretty consistent, I see, is Gabe Vincent. This dude is actually it's been hard for me to bet on Miami players in general. Of course, Bam has been consistent, but Gabe Vincent points probably sitting at 13.5, 14.5 right now. He's been nothing short of fantastic.
See, that's the reason why I think Bruce Brown's going to play more in this game 3, because I feel like he's a better matchup with Gabe Vincent than KCP is.
That could be it, I see. But Miami's also going to be strategical with how they get him the ball, where they get him the ball. This dude's been extremely consistent, though. He's averaging 21 points. I see line sitting at 13.5, 14.5 right now on 55.6% shooting. Mind you, these are road games. 15 for 27 shooting from the field, 9 for 16 from the 3-point line. He was a Miami Heat, a game high, plus 22 in game 2, RC. So I like Gabe Vincent if I'm looking at anything on the Miami side.
But we always talk about this, Chris, and I didn't take the prop, but I want to just talk about it. But we always talk about how sometimes the line tells a story, right? And obviously with those types of averages, to see a number at 13.5 and the consistency of him hitting over it, wouldn't that be telling you something like that Denver's going to make the proper adjustments to go under?
I don't think that. I think so, RC. In general, I think so. But for Gabe Vincent specifically, as long as he's going to continue to shoot 12 to 13, 14 times, if I can get a point per, if I can get a point per shot, I'm totally fine with that. This to me, RC, I think the difference is Miami has so many role players that you just don't know who the guy's typically going to be. But Vincent has been consistent. So this to me, RC, feels like Caleb Martin in the last series, right? Caleb Martin was a guy that I didn't bet on last series, right? I didn't bet on Caleb Martin because I just thought that he was going to eventually come back down to earth. He proved to me and the rest of the world that you should have just bet on me every single game and you would have went over every single game. You would have made money every single game by betting on. So it just feels like Gabe Vincent is the guy that's going to play the minutes. He's going to get the open shots. He's super confident right now. So I would think that he would be the guy that kind of keeps it rolling. We're not asking him to score 30. You just need 15 points from him. And I think he could get that, especially the way he's been shooting and the confidence he has to have coming back home, especially with Jimmy not being super aggressive offensively. Jimmy shot 7 for 19 from the field. Bam's going to get his because he has a matchup with Jokic, but who else are you consistently counting on, out of that group? So I didn't play Gabe Vincent, but that's the way I would look. I see if I'm playing a player prop on the Miami Heat side.
Makes sense. Real quick, I saw the chat. For some reason, I'm just now looking at the chat. But Jeffrey mentioned, why you guys think the role players will play better away from home for the Nuggets, and then if anything, Joker and Murray have to take them to the promised land. But I think that's what Spoelstra wants them to do, right? If you listen, I listened to the Steve Kerr comment about on the Draymond podcast, right? They want Joker to be the lead here. They want to take away everybody else. Look at what happened with him scoring 40 points, and Chris just talked about it too. What is their record when Jokic scores 40 plus? It's not that great, right? He needs to be the person leading the team in distributing the ball and putting people in the right direction. But if they're going to allow Joker to just continue scoring and nobody else do any work, that's been the recipe for success for their opponents. And it seems like if that's what they want them to do, and they need the role players to step up here in Miami for them to get the win. So I think that's the strategy. I mean, you're saying if anything, Joker and Murray need to lead them. They want that to happen. So Denver wants the opposite, right? You need the role players to step up here. And I think they're going to attack, like we just talked about, attack with MPJ for the most part, and Aaron Gordon. Get back to that dunker role for him. and how he was successful in game 1. But for the most part, I mean, as far as from a betting perspective, like I said, I took the under. I'm probably going to get there with Denver first half. But that's pretty much, I don't know if I'm going to touch any props, but I would say MPJ would be the right way to go. I think he steps up here.
I got a follow-up question for you. If you had to play a team total under, let's say, Denver comes out and they shoot the ball really, really well, would you lean at all towards Miami team total to go under?
Yeah, and I'll show you something that I looked at earlier. Actually, I think I brought it up earlier. One second. Let me just bring this up real quick. I think I brought it up earlier. Let's go back. This one specifically. All right, so this is that the finals query. Round 4, series game 3, the zigzag, right? Home favorite loss in game 2, home favorite win in game 1. This is what happens in game 3, right? 5-2 straight up, 5-2 against the spread, 5-2 to the under. If you look at the DPA here for that road team, 6-0-1 to the team total under for the opponent. So a lot of it is pointing towards Miami going under their team total. Obviously, this one here, a 0, that's a push, but none of them has gone over. So historic trends say Denver, Miami probably to a team total under more likely than anything. If you want to stay away from the spread, maybe just take that, because there's still that situation where maybe Miami's defense shows up, limits Nuggets, and they both go under or whatever it might be. You're just kind of taking away the spread, right? Just focusing in on what's going to happen with Miami. And with the pace of play and the fact that we maybe expect a letdown offensively from a shooting perspective, percentage-wise, I mean, Heat team total under makes sense to me. So now you bring that up.
Yeah, I might spread the love around. I see last game I only put Denver team total over. I was 0-1, but I'm gonna have as you can see, I'm gonna have a few plays today, and then I haven't even played a prop yet. Just kind of give you guys what I absolutely love.
What do you think about that? I know I don't think you touch team totals too much, but what are your thoughts on that? The Heat team total under.
Yeah, like you said, I'm not really the guy to ask. I think, although that would be the way that I lean is Heat team total under. I just don't like kind of pigeonholing myself like that. Like, I'm already taking Denver, so now you kind of add more variables. Denver got to win and hold them under the team total. So I think it's a great market, and I think you guys will know more about that than I would. But we'll definitely lean that way for sure, though.
I like it. All right, well, that's it for the NBA, guys. Unless you guys have any other comments. No. Okay.
Just real quick.
Go ahead.
Chris broke down Gabe Vincent beautifully again. That's one of the guys I was looking to pair MPJ with. So depending on how you feel about the juice, MPJ 2+ threes and Gabe Vincent 2+ threes is -135, all the way up to like -160 on other books. So great value there. I looked at his 10+ points too, but that's too juiced on all books. So I think he's going to continue to be involved, get the volume. We already broke down MPJ already. So yeah, I like that little late 2+ of both guys. I believe that's all I had.
Cool. Real quick before we go to the best bet section, I'm just gonna drop a WNBA play real quick, and it is the links. Shit, that's hella small. I did take. I'm not gonna lie. I did take the Wings game over, but that number is way gone. I got it at 163.5. I think it's at 167.5 now. So that was actually a premium play, but I'm not gonna give that out here. I think they still go over 167.5 in my opinion. I think they reached the 170 mark. I think the Wings offense is I think it's legit. I think it's definitely one of the top 3 offenses in the league for them, and I think that's gonna push them over. But I wouldn't say that would be. I like it as much as I did the 163.5. But I'm taking the links. The reason why I'm giving this one out is because it's only moved a half point instead of like the 4 points with that total. It's now, last I saw it was 14, and that was before the show. But this is a query that kind of supports it here. This is road team coming off of a road win, and previous to that, there were a home loss. So they're kind of going in the right direction, sort of like a momentum shift there, right? From home loss to a road win, and then they're on the road again. And it's a non-conference game, so the opponent is likely not going to take that situation seriously either. But if you add something to it, you say that there's a dog, it becomes even better. 9-1 straight up, 9-1 against the spread, 7-3 to the under. So this is telling me here, just reading into this, they're putting too much into the line here with the Liberty coming off of that loss. I think Liberty win, but my number would be more closer to like 10, 11 around there than 14 and a half. So in my opinion, Lynx have the offense to keep up with the Liberty. For some reason, the Liberty is playing slower than they should, in my opinion. I think offensively, if they were to play a lot faster with the players that they have on this team, they would run these people off the court, like literally run them off. But they're just not playing the way that I thought they were going to. They're playing a lot slower, like a half-pace team. I mean, half-court team. I think once they make the switch to playing a faster pace, I think they're going to start to thrive and get into a groove. But right now, I feel like the Lynx offense is good enough to stick with them. Maybe not win the game outright, but definitely stay within the 14. So that's my play that I'm going to give out today. The Lynx plus 14 here in the WNBA. MLB wise, I didn't run the trends yesterday. I brought back the MLB trends to watch. Did really well. Fortunately, it did really well. We have a lot more data now than we did before, but I didn't run them today. So maybe later on Twitter, I'll probably drop some if I run it after the show here. But let's go to the best bet section, guys. Top looks and comments here. Best bet section. Let's go with you, Finesse. First, drop the plays that you want to drop for the viewers here. If you want to drop MLB, up to you, but definitely not forcing you or anything.
Yeah, I'm on Denver. Like a money, I locked in a money line price. It's a little juicy now, so I like the 2.5, obviously as well. First half, the boys talked me into it. So Denver first half full game. Love those spots. I'm gonna be on MPJ one way or another. Whether it's that lay that the threes lay I just gave out or his points and rebounds, I like both just as much. So I'll pick one and ride that. And I do have an MLB play. You come to Let's Cap with my man RC, you're gonna get everything. You feel me? You're gonna get MLB, NBA, WNBA. I heard Chris was capping horses now. Yeah, swimming. You know, Chris capping the horses now and stuff. So watch out for that. But yeah, I'll be quick. Something that we made a lot of money on already. George Kirby, Seattle Mariners starting pitcher. He pitches today. Game is at 4:05. Over 17 and a half outs. I don't understand why they keep opening this line like this. Been expecting 18 and a half. Like I said, we cashed on this a bunch of times already. Again, depending on how you feel about juice, not everybody likes this. It's -1. I got the worst of the number. It's -150 on DK when I locked it in. Feel free to pair it with something else. I like pairing it with some easy stuff, right? In the same game, I like the under as well. I think the regular under is 8.5, so put it like under 13.5 or something like that. Just make the outs playable. He's over this in 9 of his last 10 starts. One of the most efficient pitchers in the league. Stays around the zone, only a 3.4% walk rate. He pounds first pitch strikes, 85% first pitch strike percentage, which is elite, which is incredible. Keeps the ball on the ground, almost a 50% ground ball rate, which you like. More weak contact, more double play ball, stuff like that. Averages just 12 pitches per inning this year to get through an average of 6.7 innings per game, which is crazy. 12 pitches per inning. San Diego's offense been extremely inconsistent, especially versus righties, leading guys to be able to go deeper into games. 6 of the last 7 starting right-handers have covered this line over the last 14 games versus righties. 27th in batting average, 23rd in OPS, 20th in WRC+. The Padres lineup is a patient one, which can drive pitch counts up. That's not a problem with Kirby. Kirby's going to attack the strike zone. He's been excellent on the road, 6+ innings in 5 straight, all 5 road starts, 2.34 ERA, a whip under 1. 80% of base runners are left on base with Kirby on pitching on the road. So I love this spot. Basically like a system play now, whatever you want to call it. So if they're going to give it to me playable, I'm going to play it every single time. I think it's a good matchup for it too. Game starts at 4:05. So Kirby over 17.5 outs. Denver first half. Denver full game. Top players of the day.
I love it. I love that Kirby play. The numbers that you put out on that the first pitch strike, also the number of pitches per inning. That is also telling of how long they can go in a game as well. So I like that play a lot. That makes a lot of sense to me. Chris, go ahead. What you got?
Let's go. So best bet of the day. Let's start with 1 unit play. So 1 unit play on the under 214.5. I talked about game 2 being extremely difficult to get to that over. Miami kind of just keeping Denver off off balance, I would say. You know, that Denver scores on runs, and then they have times where they can't score at all. And I think that continues throughout tonight. I also expect a lot more, you know, just locked in efficiency, effort, defensive communication, you know, from the Denver Nuggets as well. So I like the under. Pace is also down, RC, when you just look at that. So I mean, under 214.5, 1 unit play. Also 2.5 Denver. I think that they win the game. I think they get a big lead. And I know that we've been talking about this. The trends kind of supported as well, RC, but I think eventually Mike Malone got to not get out coached in the second half. I know that's difficult, right? Spoelstra's like this big mastermind, genius, mad scientist, fourth quarter, X's and O's. Like, I make every adjustment. We can call him Eric Adjustment Spoelstra, right? So, like, but eventually you can't get out coached in the second half every single time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I understand it's your identity. So I think Denver is able to win the game by 2.5. I say all that to say I think that Denver can maintain their lead of 2.5. And I think they start early. So I did play first quarter, first half. Just half unit plays for me there. But I do like Denver a lot tonight to bounce back and kind of get right. I think the trends support it. I think the effort supports it as well. And I don't think that Miami shoots 47, 48, 50% from the three-point line today. So give me Denver, first quarter, first half unit plays, full game, minus the 2.5 is what I got. 1 unit, full game under 214.5.
Love it. Shout out to the chat, guys, dropping a lot of MLB plays there too that we really didn't touch on. But for me, all right, so for me, my best bets that I'll drop here, full game under is the one that I've already taken. I'm going to be adding the Nuggets first half. I'm also going to add the Heat team total under. I'm probably just going to split the unit between those two. And then in the WNBA, the Lynx plus 14. I did get it at 14.5. That's what I gave out to clients, but plus 14 here on the show just because it's what, I think that's what it is now. I'm going to double check.
Yeah, it's 14, I see.
Yeah, 14. Oh, shit. It's already moving down to 13.5 at some books too. So if you guys like that, you should probably hop on it now because I think it's going to continue to go. Like I said, I thought it was going to be, well, not I thought, but I think the number should be closer to 11 around there, 10 or 11. So you're still, even at 13.5, I feel like it's still a good play. It's just you're not getting the best number, right? So so those are the plays that I want to drop, guys. Other than that, shout out to Chris and Finesse for coming on with me today. NBA is coming to a close pretty soon here. We still only got, max 5 more games left, right? 4 after this one. So hopefully we continue to close out this NBA strong here, and then we'll start to dive into baseball a little bit more, and then WNBA. We'll see what else happens, and then like ping pong and all that shit too. You know what I'm saying? So, but with that said, guys, that's the end of the show. Finesse, anything to promote before we cut out?
No, I want to take this time to show my appreciation to both of you guys. Like I said, I'm gonna do it. I have done it since the day I started. I will do it since until the shit is all over. So as we come from the same space, or whether you're capper, content creator, whatever the fuck you want to call it, from one to another, meaning both of you guys, just major respect. It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of grinding, trying to give the people the best possible angles to make money. So I definitely know what it takes. You guys have been doing it for longer than me, and have really done a lot for me, given a lot to me. So just major respect to you guys, and kudos to you guys putting in the long hours to try to make the world a better place. You know what I'm saying? And move some money around. So let's keep doing it. Like you said, NBA is coming to a close. Can't wait for the game tonight. I think it was an amazing show. A lot of great info shared. I think a lot of our stuff aligned. So I think a lot of money going to be made tonight. Chris should be doing a show later, so I'll see you there. And yeah, big shout out to you guys.
Appreciate it, Finesse. Yeah, Chris, I know you got your spaces in here in a couple hours. So we have the show on your YouTube now too. Whenever you come on, you share the show on your YouTube page. But I know you have not a what is that called? Not a premium, but like a what is that called?
It's like you could call it premium, like membership.
Yeah. Premium VIP exclusive membership.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, I think you, from my understanding, you give out all your plays anyways. It's just a matter of getting them when you put them in, right? I think Jay does that too.
Yeah, it's very, very similar to what Jay does. But yeah, so nothing to promote RC. I think echo on what Finesse said. It's dope to be able to rub shoulders, rub elbows, and kind of be able to break it, break these games down and chop it up. We all see them differently, and then it's really cool when we align. I think it builds confidence, in our plays and in our picks and whatever the case might be. So always grateful for the opportunity to grace the Wagertalk now, Let's Cap show. So shout out to URC, shout out to you as well, Finesse, my guys. And let's enjoy the game, man. I think, no matter how much money you got on it, we got to enjoy it, especially when it's, it's really, really slim like this. And we're seeing really good basketball as well, right? Finals are the highest of the high. So enjoy the game tonight, everybody. Hopefully we can make some money while we're doing so.
Yes, sir. With that said, guys, make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button here on the YouTube channel, whether it's mine or Chris's. On Twitter, you can just hit the little heart or the retweet just to share the show if you like what we're doing here. Other than that, guys, always got to close out like this. Whether you fade us or follow us, it is on you guys to make that call. Good luck with all your action. Till next time, peace. Oh, where is my button? There you go.